Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about how the enemy actually bind demons, jinn, or entities to your body. They bind it through a lot of things. Basically, they bind it through blood, through feces, or through urine, and through anything that it belongs to you, right? They would get something either from your house or from your, anywhere you live, and then bind it. But the worst kind of binding is like through urine or feces and all bodily fluids, right? Like blood and stuff. So that's the worst kind, okay? They use sigils, they use witching circles, and they use all those things to bind. What you can do is you can unbind. If you want to be kind to the demon, you can unbind the demon without hurting them. But if the demon is malevolent and wicked and stuff, because you would know, why? Because the demon will attack you. Will attack you constantly. Because some demons, they would basically align with the witch and wizard and warlock. So they put it, when they bind it to you, the witch will initiate the attack and the demon will attack you without the witch coming to your vessel. Because the witch or, magicians or whatever, these people who do witchcraft, they could do that, right? And also there is a spiritual jail. I don't know if you're aware of that. A spiritual jail is, there is one in heaven and there's one, basically with God, right? And you can also bind the demon and send them where they don't want to go, right? So if you send the demon and jinn and these entities, draconian jinn or reptilian jinn, and there is a lot of them, right? But you don't even need to know them by name. But it's good if you know them by name, because you can just call them out. But if you don't, that's fine. You can also bind them and send them to the spiritual jail, God's jail, up in heaven, right? You can also send them to the central sun. They don't like to go to the central sun, right? Because they're burned, And anyhow, just look online where you can do to send these jinn entities and stuff. You have to remove them, because they're going to continue to, create this chaos in your life, right? But if you really want to get rid of them, if you attack this jinn and you create a prayer, you say to the jinn to attack the witches and wizards and warlock who actually binded you. You will attack you're reversing the attack back to the witch. And then the witch will unbind the jinn, because they don't want to get hurt. And that's what you do. And you have to break a loop, because they will create a loop to family members. They will create it to family members, so when they get attacked, the attack goes to your family members. So somebody you care about, it could be your animal, could be your family, could be your friend, they will get hurt, right? So the enemy is crafty and wicked and stuff. So you have to undo, what they're doing, and you have to know how the enemy think. I'm just telling you how the enemy think. This is the enemy. We've been in this game of manipulation for a long time. They're trying to control us. That's out of the question. They cannot control us. Okay. So anyhow, I'm just showing you. I've created prayers to break, and bind these demons, and send us to spiritual jail, God's jail, But there's more you could do, okay? Just you have to do a little bit of research online, and what the demon and jinn fear the most. They also fear demon, jinn, and all those, draconian jinn and reptilian jinn or whatever. They all fear iron. They fear iron and fire. Okay? They fear iron and fire and copper as well. Okay? You can send bullets. You can send bullets, arrows, knives, swords, through them. And you also divert it to the actual witch. And you have to break the loop in a prayer. Not to go back to your family, to your pet, or to somebody you care about, right? You have to send it directly to the witch, all right? This is how you do it. You have to be smarter than they are, because they've done this for a long time. They're wicked, they're wicked and demonic, and and that's what you do, They hate also holy water. They hate holy water. They do, hate holy water, and they hate arrows, knives, and swords of iron. You can dice everything, can say, I sent arrows, knives, and swords, darts made of iron, copper, holy water. You could create. You can also bind these arrows, knives, and swords with. You can create prayers. You can ignite it. With God. Veil fire. Veil fire is the universe hottest fire, and they don't like that because they're made from a smokeless fire. Smokeless fire. It's like So they made from this when the fire burn and you see the smoke, they made from that, from the smoke. So smokeless fire, and they made from two elements, the smokeless fire and air. And air, smokeless fire and air. Because Adam is made from the opposite. He's made from dust and air. No, dust and water, sorry. Dust and water. And Jinn is made from a smokeless fire and air. Okay? So you do the opposite. So the opposite they hate, So anyhow, and that's what, you can look at the elements. You could look at the elements of creation. You could look at the elements of, the dragon. That dragon is made of, and it will help you. All right. Anyhow, that's what I want to talk about and tell you how to get rid of these, attachments and stuff. The witches and these wizards and wicked doers, whatever, they're weak without their, this projection they put out. They can project demons, they can project things. As soon they bind this demon into you, they control you, So either you want to be kind to release it without harming them, or you can attack it. And you do all of that I just told you how to do it. Then you're hurt. You know what? When Solomon binded the jinn and stuff, he didn't bind it because they were, good demons, or, they have not done anything. He just did it out of, spite to do this, because they said Solomon is offended God. That's not true. That's not true. That God, when Solomon binded his demons, he did not offend God. It was them who did horrible things to humanity, or who did things. That's why he binded the jinn, That's what the main story that they've been spreading in these, you find online and stuff. So they say, God, Solomon offended God. No, did not. Because in the whole Quran they said, لا كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفروا. That means the jinn sinned, but not Solomon. You understand? So this is like the translation for it, right? So the jinn sinned, but not Solomon. You understand? So do not listen to these people, puppets, spreading lies. They lied about God. They said God was dead. You think they're gonna lie about you?